Hey YouTube, it's that dude named Dave and welcome to my channel. And if you've been here before, welcome back. Before we get started, my price of admission, like, subscribe, and the bell notification below. You guys are watching my videos, but you're all not sub yet. So let me help you by helping me out and give you guys a few seconds to do this. Okay, we got out the way, no long intros. This video here, we're coming back to DL Hughley. Now, if you guys have been following me here, I've done several live streams regarding the Monique and DL Hughley situation, describing how when she went on stage and how she went on about him and the promoter and contracts and deal memos. And then I did a reaction video regarding his response and how he was interpreting everything from when he first saw her in Breaking Bread to the point where she responded to an hour-long stream regarding saying that it was not about the contract, it was about DL Hughley's character and bringing his kids into it. Well, this video here, he gives one more response to Monique regarding his children and his family here. So let's get to the video and we're gonna try to make this make sense.
I'd done all I could here about this whole Monique situation, but over the weekend, her and her husband released a video where I was doing an interview and I detailed my daughter's sexual trauma. Monique has taken that video and perverted it for her own uses. She's decided to add her own narrative. I will only say this, and I'm answering this now in response to a request from my daughter, who, of course, over the weekend was crying, of course, having her trauma, tried it out in front of the world in a situation she had nothing to do with, that doesn't have anything to do with a contract, would be traumatizing to anybody, particularly when it's from somebody who claims to love us for real. But she proceeded to talk about how I let a man touch my child, which nothing could be further from the truth. They were both 13 years old. They were friends that had grown up together. She told me about it years later, and when she told me about it, and this is something I lament to this day, denied that I said, well, you know, that's what kids do. Now, that was my estimation of it. It was not her interpretation of it. She was hurt by that. And I will never forgive myself for not, A, believing her, and B, handling it the way I did. But for Monique, A, to put a man in that room, which never happened, and B, to bring up sexual trauma in an argument that has nothing to do with what you're talking about, is unconscionable. My daughter, Tyler, addressed it.
Let me pause here for a second here, because if you guys been following me, or if you've been seeing what Monique was saying, she has been standing on this Plymouth Rock regarding DL Hughley's character, about the trauma that his daughter went through here. And she's acting like she's trying to bring this to the forefront, like she is some crusader. When in actuality, all this came up because DL brought this up years ago. He was the one being open on the radio shows and the talk show circus when he was being open in dialogue about his family and things that he regrets. He is openly taking the accountability about the situation here. And on top of that too, he made a great point, even though it doesn't excuse it here. Monique was trying to paint the picture that his daughter was violated by a grown man when there was two 13-year-olds when they were young at the time, and she told him later after the fact. It didn't happen right away here, but Monique is trying to interject that it was a family friend and that DL would not believe his own daughter. So we've seen how DL is being very eloquent. He is being very precise in his words and has been very descriptive on all his dealings when he talks. And whenever Monique talks, it's all about feelings and beloved and protecting black women, when she's just talking word salads all over the place here. So let's let DL continue and get back to the video.
My daughter Ryan addressed it with her in a letter. And the thing that I was most proud about in the letter is not only that she held her head high, because she's supposed to. The other thing is, she said there are legitimate things you could have gone after my father about, because my children know exactly who I am. They know that I'm not perfect. They know that I'm flawed. And none of them would have a problem with you assailing things that are really true. But you and your husband putting a man in my daughter's room, and that is not what I said, and weaponizing it and using in a trite argument shows exactly how low you are. You are a monster. You literally are. You didn't play.
Let me pause that and let that sink in. Monique is a monster. Plain and simple. She showed up at the venue in Detroit less than 10 minutes before she had to get on stage. She made it seem like she had an issue with the promoter. When the promoter would not fall for her games and know that she could be sued for breach of contract, then she decided to use the 10 minutes or so to open her setup to go in on DL because she clearly didn't have any material. And then later on, a week later, she's gonna say that it wasn't about that, and then want to bring people's daughters into it and bring his wife into it. Here's the thing, if you got a problem with somebody, you go at the person one-on-one. When you start bringing kids and wives and spouses into it, when they have nothing to do with it here, you're being low. You have nothing here, and you're grasping for straws here. And that's what Monique's doing here. She is a monster. Let's put this out here. She is only out for her own personal gain. She created this viral moment to put headlines on herself here. There are bigger things happening in the world than D.L. Hughley. Now, if you want to go after D.L. Hughley, why don't you bring up the fact that when he cheated on his wife, and then the lady actually gave birth to a side baby that he had. And then during the situation when he had this side baby, the woman who he had an affair with, her ex-boyfriend, killed her and his side baby. This is actually a true story. So his kids know about it. He's been open about it. So Monique, if you want to go after him about something, why don't you go after him about that? Why are you attacking his daughter and his wife here regarding something that had nothing to do with the goddamn contracts or the concert venue when he reached out and gave you an olive branch because no one would work with you in the first place? Let's get back to the video.
Hey, Precious, you didn't play Precious's mother. You let her out.
Wow.
You stopped pretending to be human, and you won a role for being you won a Oscar for being exactly who you are. Who says they love women and are there for women and protect the babies and would trot out someone's sexual trauma just to use in an argument? I don't know anything about you. I know that what happened to you when you were a child, what happened to you when you were growing up, those things are traumatic to you, and I would never bring them up. Never. It would never occur to me to do it because that's not where I live. That's not what I do. You have had this argument or this show be about everything. It was about a contract. It was not. It was about an insult on the radio station, on my radio station. The question never aired. You know it never aired. And you continue to have this. And then you have the temerity to answer my daughter's letter with an invitation to come on my show. I will never let you on my show. Never. You will never talk to my children. I will never have anything to do with me. You do not exist. Maybe leaving my children out of your mouth will leave you room for the food you love so much. Look, you can continue to do whatever you want to me. That is fair game. I'm in this business. For you and your husband to continue to do things like this, you have already, first it was a contract. You've attacked everything. The dog, my wife, now my children. Enough. You do not exist.
She did. She went ahead and said DL. You know what that stands for? She questioned his sexuality. She went after his dog. He gave the story how his family gave him the dog Charlie. If you ever saw him on Instagram, he has a beautiful dog. I'm not the biggest animal lover. I love dogs and cats though. I'm not the biggest one in the world, but he has a great dog, okay? And he explains how his father passed away. And they gave him this dog, and it's like a metaphor that his father is always next to him. This dog comes with him when he's at home on all his trips. You can see him in the streets. He'd be in Philadelphia. He could be at a show in Texas. He'd be out here in Chicago, and Charlie is right there with him. And Monique went in and was going in about the damn dog. You know how much hurt you gotta have when you go in on a nice, good-looking, purebred dog? Seriously, maybe she's mad because she ain't the purebred dog like Charlie here. Just saying. Let's let DL finish off here.
You don't get to break my family. You don't get to do that. I don't know if you ever had a man who loved you as much as I love my children. I don't know if you've ever had anybody who's standing in your stead, because the man next to you damn sure ain't doing it. All he's doing is wrecking what's left of the rubble of a career that you're pretending to build, trying to build back. Leave my children alone. Stay with me and we're fine. You're a horrible woman. You love women like Ike loves Tina. Now that girl over there, who I shouldn't call you a girl, this woman over here, you know one thing for sure. I love you. And I'd never let it. And I'm your daddy for real. And you don't have to pay me for it. One day I hope that you're happy and you can stop being such a miserable, low human being. Maybe one day you will get to be as small as you often act. That's a little note from the GED section. We got the Jazz Report coming.
I'm ending the video there. I'm not going to play his whole radio show. I just wanted to play his response to Monique here. And at the end there, he was talking to his daughter. If you guys don't realize it or not, DL has basically hired his family into his radio business here. His son, I believe, has autism. And he's hired him because there were times that he's been open about his son actually wanting to commit suicide and how he was dealing with really rough spots in his life and how he hired his son and worked with him when he had the TV show on TV1 and then it moved to the internet. He hired his son. His daughter, she's actually a DJ. And so on top of that, too, he hired her for the show on TV1 and is more migrated to the radio show. So he is actually talking to his daughter that had the interaction that Monique was talking about. He hired his kids. He realized that the mistakes that he was doing as a father and as a husband years ago. And that situation I talked about when his side mistress and the baby was, had an unfortunate end, how he made a change. Now, of course, he didn't cause that. It was some Pookie and Ray Ray that this woman was messing around with that took everybody's lives. But he realized how he was moving. And that's why he said, if you want to come after me, come after me. My kids know about my transgressions. My kids know about all my wrongs. I've been open about it. I've talked about it. He's been on the radio and TV. He used it in his stand-up. So come for me. So you are a low, miserable person who's a monster that you want to attack someone's kids and the wife and the dog. So I've been talking about this for a few days here. I'm hoping this is over here because Monique needs help. But I'm putting this out here to showcase that I understand why DL is responding because he's being protective of his family. That is what a father and the head of his family is supposed to do. He is the covenant and he's supposed to make sure that no one comes for them. They only come for you. And he's supposed to be the protector to let them know that he is the shield for the Hughley family. So family, friends, men, if someone comes for ours, we got to be front and center. Now, there got to be times where we don't got to go back and forth for crazy. But sometimes crazy has to know that we're not standing for it. We're going to let crazy know that we're here to fight back if we had to. We'll be quiet when we need to. But when you come for ours, then you know what? All bets are off. And so stay away from the children. Stay away from the wives. Come for me and me only. And if you can't do that, then we all can see, Monique, the type of true person who you really are. And you know what? There's nothing none of us can do to help you out. You can only help yourself. Comment, like, subscribe, click on that bell notification below. Let me know what you think about D.L. Hughley and his commentary regards Monique here. I hope that he doesn't have to respond no more. I hope that Monique leaves us alone because all she's doing is digging her career even further and further down lower here. But until next time, I'm that dude named Dave. See y'all later, YouTube world.